Recording live from the Northeast Georgia Business RadioX studio, this is Northeast Georgia Business Radio. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Northeast Georgia Business Radio. We are recording live from the beautiful Empower College and Career Center of Jackson County. A quick shout out to my good buddy Mike Salmon running the board for me. Mike's waving as usual. Yes, we cut. See, can't quite escape that, can I? Folks, I have with me two amazing guests who do a lot of great work here in the community. Kristen Romanowski and Steve Wittry of Piedmont CASA. Kristen, did I say that right? Piedmont CASA?
Yes. Perfect.
And that's court-appointed special advocates.
Yes.
Sounds important.
It is important, for sure.
First of all, welcome. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you.
Steve, is your mic on?
It's on.
Okay. He's out there. I just want to make sure.
Good to see you and Mike again, Tom.
Welcome back. Well, folks, of course, Steve is a good friend of the show. We're glad to have him back in here. Kristen, back to you. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about CASA.
Please do.
To start out.
It's a really cool name, I think. It is. It really is.
Yeah. So CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate, like you said.
Yes.
A CASA is a community volunteer, just like you guys, who is appointed by the juvenile court judge to advocate for the best interest of a child. Unlike any other of the parties on the case, the CASA is solely responsible for ensuring the child's needs are met and the child's best interest is heard in the court system. A CASA's role is to recommend the best possible outcome for the child, whether that is adoption, reunification, or another option. These children that are experiencing neglect or abuse by their parents, they're moved from place to place often without any stability in their lives. They're often behind in school. And children who are experiencing this fare so much better with a CASA volunteer by their side. Studies have actually shown that they are more likely to find a safe and permanent home. They're more likely to succeed in school, and they are half as likely to re-enter the foster care system. So our goal at CASA is to build brighter futures for these children and create stronger communities.
So you're doing that every day. That's what you do.
Yes.
You're advocating. I tell you, these children are neglected, and maybe even abused.
Yes, and I would say a CASA volunteer is often the glue that just gathers all of the information, puts all of these pieces together in a otherwise complicated system.
You work with the court systems.
Yes.
Gotcha. Steve, you're still over there?
I'm still with you.
I hear you. Sounds like Kristen's doing a lot of important stuff over there.
Yeah, and it really is a huge mission. So when you think about it, the children in our society are the most vulnerable of any of us. And when they don't have adults to advocate for them, to take care of them, to make sure that they've got what they need, that creates an issue. So these advocates they're amazing people. They're just amazing people. The heart and soul that they put into helping these kids go in a better direction.
Now, Steve, you're on the board, correct?
Yes, sir.
CASA board. And Kristen, you're actually out on the front lines.
Yes.
Development and outreach.
Yes.
Now, that's a cool title, but what exactly does that mean? You have contact with the children?
I do not have contact with the children.
Tell us a little bit more exactly what your role is.
So I go to community meetings and
You're the
community
outreach.
Events. Yeah. So
Hence outreach. Wow, host. Wow, I should have seen that.
Yes.
That's how we met.
Yes. I'm in charge of recruiting the volunteers that we need for.
What are you looking for in a volunteer?
So we are looking for just a community member who's committed to changing a child's story.
Being there for them.
Yes.
So maybe they don't need some special education, a wall full of degrees.
Right. You don't need any legal training. We provide a training that I'll talk about later that will prepare the volunteers to advocate for their children.
We can talk about it now. Fire away. No, seriously. Okay, but seriously, when I see an organization that you're doing or an organization that's doing what you're doing, I think, okay, I have to have a degree in some type of human services or child development. But you're telling me I don't to be a part of this.
Right.
So let's talk about this training. We're reaching out to the folks here.
Yeah, so our next training is starting this week, actually, on Thursday, May 11th. Our trainings are held every Thursday for 6 weeks from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Wimberley Center in Winder. And during the training, we work through what it looks like to be a CASA volunteer. We work a case. We experience how each volunteer can make an impact in these children. Like I said, you don't need to know anything about court proceedings or have any legal training.
You're looking for people to take mentoring to the next step.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Normally, we wait to the very end to give websites and emails. How do the folks who are listening right this second, how would they contact you or Piedmont CASA if they want to get involved with this? We're going to do it again before we get out of here, but let's go ahead and jump ahead and do that right now.
Yeah, you can go to our website. It's piedmontcasa.org and fill out an application.
Okay. Or
you can contact me at 770-601-6840.
That's important. And we're going to give that information out again, folks, so everyone can get involved.
Tom,
Yes,
if
sir.
I could jump in for a
Please
second.
do. No, please do.
There's a really important distinction that we should chat about briefly. When Kristen talked about what she does, she used the word recruit.
Right.
And that should be that particular word should be loosely interpreted. So
Sure.
when you're looking for somebody to do what these CASA volunteers do and how hard they work for these kids, what Kristen does is really make sure that people are aware. Community is aware of what we do, of what opportunities there are, and what we look for then is for people who have that heart to step forward,
Right.
and come up and say, that's something I can do, that's something I want to do, how do I get involved? So it's creating that awareness so that it's not like recruiting an engineer or an accountant or somebody like that. These are really, really special people. And like we talked about earlier, it doesn't require a degree. It requires a master's in love and in caring. And that's what these people have. So we just need to put the opportunity out there. That's what Kristen works really, really hard at.
Yeah.
And then
I've seen her in action, Steve.
Yep.
She does. No, she does.
Good stuff.
Well, before we get too far ahead, what areas do we serve? What are that
So
Piedmont serves?
we serve the Piedmont Judicial Circuit, which includes Barrow, Banks, and Jackson counties.
Up here. Okay. I'm with you. This intrigues me because, like I said, I'm thinking you've got to have a wall full of degrees to be a volunteer. This program is opened up to a lot of people. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't expect that.
No-
I'm almost speechless.
No age requirements, no educational requirements.
So what does a volunteer have to look forward to? What are the things they're going? Is this a 24/7 thing? Is this some mentoring on the side? Just how deep does this go? The expectation and the commitment from the volunteer.
So it is a commitment. It's not 24/7.
It's not 24/7.
Yeah.
You're not bringing a child home with you.
That's right.
That would be a commitment.
So the CASA volunteer is basically an information gatherer for the child. They go out and review documents. They talk to all of the people in the child's life, such as teachers, doctors, and they also meet with the child.
They collect information.
Yes. So
And some of that may be legal information.
So yes.
Okay.
So all of the information that they collect, they end up putting into a report that is given to the courts, all parties that are involved in the hearing.
I got you. Kind of a third party that doesn't really have a dog in the fight, so to speak.
Yes.
It's not someone's grandchild. There's
Right.
emotion there, or their child, or a next door neighbor, someone you might have raised. You known them since they were a baby.
Well, and that really underscores the need for
That makes a lot of sense.
our volunteers to be really caring, loving people, because
Yeah.
somebody who really, really cares about other people when they see something, they can just tell it's not right.
Right.
Or they can see the child isn't getting what they need, or somebody's not being truthful with them. When they see those things, then they dig deeper.
Right.
And
They start asking questions.
That's right. And because they're going to advocate with the court for that child, and they know that they need to be well prepared and they need to gather those details. So they're very inquisitive, and they're not probing or prying. They're just trying to make sure that the child is getting what they need.
I got you. So the family knows this volunteer exists and is quote unquote involved?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now this all goes through the court system, basically.
Correct.
So it's on record.
Correct.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Doing a little undercover work or something. No, I think it's pretty neat. I think it's very neat. Mike, I found our next career. He's shaking his head again. He does that a lot.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Well, if I could make a comment, one of my favorite leadership guys is John Maxwell, and there's a quote from him that I think applies here, and he talks about, he says, "What you do doesn't determine whether your work is sacred. How you do it and why you do it makes your work sacred."
That's true.
And that so applies to our CASA volunteers, because you could just check all the boxes as a volunteer and just collect the paperwork and provide your report.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't accomplish as much.
Everything looks good. Check.
Yep, all done.
Wow.
But these guys get into it, and it's, there's a why. It's a passion for them. It's a belief. It's a cause that they sign up for.
So they're truly living it.
They are.
And if you're going to be successful, you got to live it.
Yep.
I way back in the day when I owned my own business, I guess technically I still do, and I never had part-time employees because they were part-time employees, and I didn't want that. You got to live it. You got to live it at least a little bit. All right, Steve, you are on the CASA board, so I'm going to hit you up with this. As a nonprofit, and Piedmont CASA is a nonprofit. Let's get that out there. I don't think we did.
Right.
What are some of the biggest needs for this organization?
Well, I would boil that down to two things. And the first is what we've been talking about. We need people who have this kind of a heart to step up, make this kind of a commitment, even if it's going to be just for a year or 2 years. But we've got people that have been with us we just celebrated a 20-year anniversary.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And so there's people that do this for a long time and have helped many, many children. So the first thing we need is people. People make the difference.
Okay.
Like anything else, this has to be funded. There's a lot of support. So being a member of the board of directors, one of my responsibilities is to make sure that we're able to fund the needs of these people. They're not paid. They're volunteers.
They're volunteers, right?
But there's a lot of support that goes in behind that. So we have an annual fundraiser. We usually do it. We just finished one in February. That's our biggest fundraiser. We apply for grants. We have many different ways that we try to raise funds to continue to support. We're not serving all the kids we can.
Right.
So we need more volunteers, and that creates a need for more funding. So those are the two big ones. We need good volunteers, and we need funding.
I got you. Are you seeing more and more need as this area grows? It's growing.
Unfortunately, the area is growing. The details of our society are changing.
Sure.
As they always have been.
Always does.
But a lot of these factors, the drug use is increasing. That always contributes to it. So, yes, the need is growing, and we anticipate it will continue growing. So we need to be diligent in our efforts to find both volunteers and funding.
I got you. Can't do it without the people, can we?
No, they're the linchpin in all this.
Gotcha. Well, Kristen, do we have any events coming up? Now, Steve just mentioned the big fundraiser. That was a couple months ago. But what kind of events do we have coming up?
Like I said earlier, we have the new volunteer training that's coming up on Thursday.
I guess that is an event, technically.
Yeah.
That sounds like work. I was talking about something more fun, but no, I'm with you.
Yes, so we have that. We do a training 3 times a year. So we have that one coming up this week, and then we'll have another one in August.
Gotcha. What now? You said earlier, how is that? How many weeks? How many days?
It's 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay.
Once a week from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Wimberley Center in Winder.
The Wimberley. I got you. So
and we serve food too, don't we? Don't we feed them?
Oh, do they?
We
do
do
you?
serve
Do
dinner.
you?
Yeah.
Well, depending on who's catering, I'm just saying.
It's usually Chick-fil-A.
Well, wow. You know how to get to people.
So that makes it fun.
Yeah,
that qualifies.
Yeah, it does. Hey, anytime you get Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Sounds like y'all's hands are full.
Yes, so I did want to share that
Please do.
we are currently serving 114 children in foster care.
I was about to ask you what the rough numbers were.
And we have 60 active volunteers right now. One really great thing is that we increased our coverage from 55% of the children in care to 67 within the last year.
Gotcha.
Of course, our goal is to serve 100% of children in care.
Right.
So definitely our biggest need is more volunteers
When
to
you
support
say,
this.
sorry, I'll cut you off. When you say in care, that's a foster program.
Yes,
The court has more or less stepped
in
in.
foster care, yes.
In care. So when a child is placed in foster care, the advocates are still a part of their life, keeping an eye on it.
Yes, so
They just don't stop because the court stepped in.
our volunteers are assigned a case for
Okay.
a child that's in foster care, and they stay on that case for the life of the case.
Okay.
So
I got you. I'm trying to envision exactly what a quote unquote day in the life of a volunteer is. And I realize this is not a 24/7 necessarily an everyday thing, but just the things that they're going to come across.
yes, they're just going to talk to everyone in the child's life. It's common that they reach out to their teachers just to make sure they have everything they need at school. Their doctors, making sure their checkups are up to date, and their
Make
dentist.
sure they're getting to the checkups.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then they will attend the court hearings with the child.
It's not a lot different than being a parent. If you have a child, you do those things.
Right.
Right. Well, you should be.
With the
You should
exception
be.
with the exception of the court hearing.
Right.
You're speaking to their doctors. You're talking to their
Yes.
teachers.
I got you.
It's the same idea.
That's a good way to look at it.
So they take it to another level.
I got you. Advocating for the child.
Right.
The work you two are doing is awesome with the community, and keep doing it. It's a shame that you have to do it.
It is a shame.
It's a shame that y'all are doing it, but I'm
is a
glad
shame.
you are. I'm glad you are.
And one thing we didn't talk about, so the ultimate goal for the CASA volunteers and for us as an organization is we would like to be able for all the stars to align and to reunite that child with its biological parents.
Okay.
That's the goal. Doesn't always work out that way.
I got you.
But if it can't work out that way, then the goal is to make sure that we attain the best possible solution for that child's future.
I'm with you. Now, does Piedmont CASA work in relationship with other organizations in the area? Because advocating for a child is one thing, but there's a lot of problems beforehand to get to that point. Parents not doing the things they need to be doing. For it to get to the point to need an advocate, there's a lot of things probably going wrong. So are there relationships with other organizations in the community?
So at the Wimberley Center, there are a lot of nonprofits there that we
Right.
can utilize, like social empowerment and
Build your network. Okay.
yes,
Well, that's
in
important.
order
That's
to
important.
help refer if a child does need therapy or certain things.
So that can probably be almost as important as having actual volunteers.
Yes, for sure.
A need comes up, you have a way to possibly solve it, a direction to go.
Yeah. And we as an organization interact with DFACS.
Okay.
Yes.
And we
Okay.
have a connection there. So that's a bit of a partnership that we try to work through. Again, we're all working for the same thing.
I got you. I just know there's a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
You can't just fix one thing because there's probably 20.
Yeah. Well, and there's another group that we didn't talk about that we should. And
Please do.
And Kristen is a part of that, and that's the staff that we have on board, because they really coordinate a lot of this for the volunteers. So the volunteers are not just out there on their own. So that's part of the
Right.
fundraising is that we have a staff to support as well.
Some structure, I got you.
Absolutely. And making sure that we're doing all the things that we need to do legally, and take care of those volunteers
Right.
that are out there, working their tails off.
Out on their front line. Do they ever face any opposition? Maybe someone doesn't want them on their property or looking into something, and does that ever pop up?
Well, and we hear stories from our volunteers. Sometimes that does happen. The parents aren't happy that someone's intervening with their
why
child.
are you
and-
here? I don't need you.
Yeah, exactly. And even though the circumstances that exist may have been caused by those people. Doesn't really matter. They just don't want somebody
Right.
in their business.
Right.
So yeah, there's some resistance sometimes.
I got you.
There
I
is.
got you.
I think once we explain, or the volunteer explains why they're there to look out for the best interest of the child, everything is calmed down a little bit, and they understand more that we're not DFACs. We're not
Right.
trying to do anything else. We're just trying to help.
Trying to try to make a bad situation better.
Right.
At least try to.
Right.
I got you. That could be kind of scary.
It can be, but explaining that well and
Done right.
and getting that relationship established is a key part of getting towards that goal of reuniting the child with its natural parents.
I got you. And hey, listen, human nature in general, if someone knows they're being held accountable, often their behavior will be different, often better. But if they know there's a system of checks and balances watching them,
Right.
and if a child's being neglected, obviously there needs to be someone else holding those systems of checks and balances.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point you make about the accountability. If they see that someone is going to intervene,
Yeah.
and is going to be a part of that child's life and is going to ensure that things are done the way they should be done, oftentimes that will be a catalyst for change.
Yeah, they're going to straighten up.
Yep.
At least hopefully they will. Yep. Hopefully. All right, folks, what did we miss before we get out of here?
I can't think of anything. I think we've covered it pretty well. I appreciate the opportunity to put this out in front of people. It's a noble cause.
It is, and I've learned a lot just sitting here in the last 20 minutes with y'all. Having coffee with Kristen a couple times, I had no idea the work that the two of you were doing. I applaud that, and it clears up a lot of questions I had about the fact that, and I never say anyone, but almost anyone can help you. Almost anyone.
Yes.
I hate the word anyone, but
Yeah, there is a lot of opportunity. If your heart, I would say to anybody who's listening, if this touches your heart, talk to us, and explore it a little bit.
I got you.
Oftentimes it's we don't know what things look like until you get really close to them.
Oh, yeah.
And we
Start
can't.
peeling back those layers.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, we all have layers.
And even if you can't be a volunteer, when you hear about some of the charitable fundraising activities, jump in, join us.
Right.
Really encourage you. When we do the gala next year, we have a ball. We have a silent auction, a live auction. We have a live band and dancing and great
It's
food.
a lot of
and
fun.
It's a lot of
Nice,
fun.
and that's here in town somewhere.
It is, yes. The last 2 years we've had it at the Brazelton Civic Center.
I know where that's at. I was there just the other day. I'm looking forward to next year.
All right.
We got a lot to get to in the meantime.
Good. Well, we'd love to see you there.
Kristen, Steve, see, he plays my music. He knows it's coming. Thank you both for all the things you do.
Thank you
Thank
for having
you.
us.
Folks, that was a great interview. Check out PiedmontCASA.org, PiedmontCASA.org. I'm Tom Sheldon. This is Northeast Georgia Business Radio. Talk to you soon.